Nice little curry here. I'm going to use mainly sweet potatoes as the bulk because sweet potatoes are great in these little curries. Some coconut milk, a little bit of curry powder, raisins, but it's cold water shrimp I want to use here. These are little tiny guys, and but again they give a nice little protein punch, makes things interesting. You could just keep this vegetarian as well, like it would be no problem at all. Or you could use bigger prawns, but again, I'm always trying to use the different fish that most people have access to. And cold water shrimp, you'll find these very easily in freezer sections and freezers and so on. And you know, what do you do with these little things? Most people use them for a prawn cocktail or something like that. But you know, you can just add them as a little, throw them into a curry or something at the very end of cookery, and they give a nice little enhancement to that dish. So, very, very simple dish this, and I'll just get on to cooking it. So, to make curry, with this dish, my 2 onions into a pan, and into that, about a tablespoon of coconut oil. So allow that to just fry away for 2 minutes just till they start to tenderize, get a bit of flavour on them. And then to this, I'm going to add my whole chilli, garlic, my ginger, and my Madras curry powder, 3 heaped teaspoons. Also at this stage, I'm going to add my raisins. Sultanas would be fine, or any other dried fruit, even cranberries or chopped up dried apricots. Next up, I'm going to add about a cup of water. Next thing, my sweet potatoes, which I've chopped, very roughly chopped, large chunks. Pop them in there. Next up, my can of coconut milk, full can, about 400 ml can. And let all of that come up to a nice gentle simmer and cook until the sweet potatoes are tender. So as this is cooking away, and as your sweet potatoes just start to get a little bit tender, I'm going to add, just have a little taste of it. Now, 2 options here. You could use a little bit of Thai fish sauce if you wanted, but I'm just going to put a pinch of salt in there just to kind of bring it up a bit. Do taste it, don't get carried away with the salt, and it'll start to thicken up, become really nice. Into that next, as my sweet potatoes are getting nice and tender, I'm going to add my peppers and my mange too. Now, I've got a bell pepper down the recipe. These are just kind of a small bell pepper, which I cut into nice chunks. It's whatever you have, but doesn't really matter too much. And the munch too will just bring that lovely bit of freshness into this whole dish. And we'll just simmer those until they become nice and tender. Well, not too tender, you want a bit of crisp in those vegetables. So I've literally allowed those to just cook for about 2 minutes. If you would like your vegetables a little more tender, a little more cooked, just cook it on a little bit more. But for me, I like to keep that crispness and that freshness into the vegetables. And the very last thing, because these are pre-cooked and they're really small, these little prawns, just going to dump in my shrimp. Cold water shrimp. Just mix them through the whole thing. You don't need a lot of them to go a long way. And that is pretty much it. Very, very little sweet potato shrimp curry. Very filling, packed with vegetables. And little raisins will give those nice little sweetness hits. And just to serve up this dish, I'm just going to just pop it all in a dish. You could, like, this is a complete meal. There's the proteins, you have plenty of vegetables. However, if you wanted, you could do a bit of rice or some kind of a nice Indian style bread, a naan or something with it, I guess. But by and large, for me, this is a complete dish. All ready to eat.